Hey, my name is Will Atkinson, A-T-K-I-N-S-O-N, and this is the Corsair Distillery in Nashville, Tennessee. A lot of trial and error. The gin alone took about 100 different botanical recipes before we finally got it right. We do a lot of tinkering. We have done whiskeys out of any grain you can think of. We've done teff, we've done amaranth, millet, buckwheat, oat, triticale, and even quinoa. And we're given a lot of flexibility by our owners. If there's anything that we would like to try as far as a grain or a type of wood smoke, that is something that will be supplied for us to tinker with and prototype. And it's honestly trial and error. We do everything by hand for one. We only use organic botanicals, but we're literally shoveling the grain. We are literally cutting the vanilla beans from the vanilla bean vodka. We're slicing up the cucumber for the gin. But in addition to that, we're trying to do something different. We're trying to do something innovative. A lot of your older, more established brands talk about the past. They talk about tradition. They talk about the way things have been done. Well, we're a 6-year-old company. We don't have 10, 15-year-old reserve. We don't have a long tradition of this. So in place of that, we're trying to be new and innovative and make something that people have maybe not tried or even heard of before, as opposed to doing something that's more traditional and already been done. This is our target market going out to have a good time. One of our owners, Derek, kind of looks like this guy, and that's not a coincidence, because he was studying distilling at Brooklonie in Scotland, had a night off, went out drinking, and to the best of his recollection saw 3 guys dressed like this, all backlit like this, walking out of a bar, and he thought, you know what, that's my target market, going out and having a good time. And that's who this is, and he stylized this to look like about a half a dozen different movies, so it also is a personality test to see what it reminds people of, but long story short, it's you.
Yeah. Well, obviously for me, it looks like, not obviously, I'm sorry, I don't mean that. For me, it looks like Reservoir Dogs.
That's the most common choice, so yes, obviously is the correct way to say that. That's the most common pick, yeah.
Yeah. And what are some of the others?
We've gotten the usual suspects. We have gotten The Hangover, except for better dressed. We've gotten Men in Black. I have gotten Blues Brothers, and I've gotten the Rat Pack from some retired individuals as well. Our best-selling spirit is our Triple Smoke Whiskey, which is an American malt whiskey or an American single malt, and it's just made of smoked malted barley, peat, cherry, and beechwood. Most scotches, though, or things with a peat smokiness, are aged in used barrels, but this being an American malt whiskey is aged in a new barrel. So it's like a bridge between an American whiskey and a Scotch whiskey. So far, only little guy distilleries make something like this, and this has turned out really well because this is not only our best seller, but this won Artisan Whiskey of the Year for Whiskey Advocate magazine for 2013. This is a quinoa whiskey. This took an award in 2012 at ADI, which is the American Distillers Institute, for idiosyncratic whiskey. And that is a catch-all for things that don't fit into a category. This doesn't fit into a category because at the moment it's the only quinoa whiskey in the world. So we are kind of forerunners for something like that, at least when something turns out well. But for every quinoa whiskey that turns out well, there are 5 or 10 in the back that will never see the light of day.